For me, I think the other great thing about my first 2 years has been my work in the Veterans Affairs Committee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's been a real positive thing for me. You know, I worked at the VA hospital in Iron Mountain for 20 years as a consultant. And you know, I'm able to bring that experience to the VA committee, and I think we've been able to make some real positive change there to improve service to our veterans. We've got a long ways to go, but you know, being in that system for a while and understanding how it works a little bit, I think made me more effective in Congress to be able to deal with that. And then also working in the district, our district staff has been really helpful with individual cases to help people get their benefits that they deserve, and sponsored some legislation to make that happen at the national level. And I've been pretty pleased with being in that. That's been my favorite part, really, of being in Congress. That work on that committee. Yeah.
What kinds of changes have you guys made?
Well, I know that there's a huge backlog in the claims for veterans benefits. So, you know, I sponsored legislation to address that backlog and you know, speed up the claims process. And we've also had, you know, conversations with the administrators at the VA, making sure that they, you know, address that backlog properly. And as I said, you know, just our office working with individual veterans on their specific cases that they've had problems with, you know, that's been, you know, really a pleasure to be able to get somebody his benefits after he's been trying for like 8 years to get their benefits and actually get them their benefits, you know what I mean? So that's very heartening in your office to be able to do stuff like that. So,
what are your goals for your next term?
Well, I think that we'll have to work hard to continue to do policies that will create jobs in northern Michigan. I mean, ease the burden of this overzealous regulators in Washington. You know, make some fundamental tax reform so that we encourage business in the United States. You know, and reform healthcare. I mean, that's still the same job that we had before, but hopefully with the new administration, the new Senate, we'll be able to make better progress.
Are you familiar with the fiscal cliff, or do you believe in that sort of thing?
Well, I know there's a lot of things we have to deal with, you know, before the end of the year. So, I mean, you know, we're going to have to deal with those probably after the election, of course. So I'm not sure. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of debate, and I'm not sure exactly how it's going to turn out. But you know, our plan is to keep the same tax code that we have now for about a year until we get some comprehensive tax reform done. It's going to take time to do that, and you know, that's why we need to continue the tax rates as they are.
I just saw a press release. Can you tell me about the Stop the War on Coal Act?
Well, it's trying to bring some reasonableness to the regulations dealing with coal. I mean, we provide much of our energy comes from coal, and I think the EPA has been overzealous, frankly, in its attempt to basically stop the use of coal throughout the country as a source of energy. Frankly, I think that you need to have clean air and clean water, and that there should be you know, adequate controls on the pollution. But we have to also take into account the economic impact of you know, losing jobs because of the loss of use of coal, and the increased cost of energy. There's a lot of consequences to that too. I mean, the coal rules in the state of Michigan are responsible for perhaps more than the loss of perhaps 30,000 jobs in the state of Michigan, and that has consequences both economic and health-wise too. You know what I mean? So I mean, people are concerned about you know, a clean atmosphere, and I want a clean atmosphere and a clean water, but I also want to have jobs. We need to have balance. If you lose 30,000 jobs, there's economic and health consequences to somebody being unemployed too. So we have to balance what we're doing with some common sense as well. I want to see some jobs in this country, in northern Michigan.
I saw your member